everybody? How's it going out there, man? The weather's nice. It's actually getting better. So how's it going, folks? I mean, it's been pretty crazy in the world of sports. This week in the world of sports, part 10, or whatever number we want to come up with, for this day of May the 10th, 2000. Is it May the 10th? Did I get my stuff wrong? Okay, yeah, May 10th, 2016. You know, folks, hey, you got to give it to the MVP of the National Basketball Association, Stephen Curry. I mean, the guy plays on one leg. He single-handedly takes his team. He wins it. And it's absolutely amazing. You know, you just don't see it every day. But what he can do out there is absolutely phenomenal. You know, Curry is the type of player that, I mean, every team in the league would love to have. And they could have had when he went, I think he went 11th overall to the Golden State Warriors. It was true that he had ankle problems coming to the NBA. His first few years weren't great. But, boy, he's really turned out to be a great player. Like Steve Nash and like Reggie Miller. You know, Reggie Miller never won the MVPs that Stephen Curry has won. But that's his comparison. But, you know, he's really turned out to be a very good point guard. He's really kind of a superstar, a mega star, selling shoes, product, you name it. Maybe even being in some movies. Seen him in some commercials. I mean, there's a lot coming his way. You know, he's up in the LeBron James and, you know, Dwayne Wade and, you know, Vince Carter type range of Steve Nash in terms of international brand, and you know, around the world he's a gigantic star, and he just gets better and better. And the Golden State Warriors proved to me that they never give up. Man, I had Portland tie in that series, and they somehow, some way managed. I mean, absolutely, they managed to come back, and they won the game. It was a high-scoring game. I don't think there was much defense. And that's why defense is so important. You've seen it in the Heat and Toronto Raptors series, how important it is to play defense. And you might not have the greatest scores, but if you play good defense, you're going to get good offense. And that's what the Miami Heat showed when they beat the Raptors. Managed to tie the series. Because I knew if they went down 3-1, it was pretty much over. There's not many teams in NBA history that managed to come back from 3-1. But at the end of the day, that's what you want to do. You want to come back. You want to bring everything you got to be the best that you can be. And we've seen it way too much over the years, folks. And some teams, they have the courage to get up that hill, and they can't get up. But we've seen that in the National Hockey League in the NHL playoff push. You look at the likes of the San Jose Sharks and the Dallas Stars. They've shown in this series, especially the Nashville Predators, managed to push their series to Game 7. It is an amazing feat that they've managed to do. And it's cool to see some good, young, up-and-coming stars like Arvidsson for the Nashville Predators. And then for the Dallas Stars, seeing a player like Dominic Roussel, play out of his mind. The goaltending from Kerry Letton's been outstanding. Pekka Rinne has been amazing. Martin Jones is showing to the rest of the league that he's becoming a number one goaltender, and you know, and the players around the league are getting better. The fourth liners, third liners, players like Scotty Upshot, who were pretty much finished in the National Hockey League, just proven to the league, his family, and everybody, and the people out in Fort Mac, that he's playing for them, and he's playing for the St. Louis Blues to have a chance to win a Stanley Cup. It is going to a seventh game, the St. Louis Blues and the Nashville Predators in good old St. Louis, and the Game 7 in San Jose tomorrow night. So, you know, and you have a big game tonight between the Washington Capitals and Pittsburgh Penguins, Game 6. So we'll see what happens. You know, anything's possible in their Stanley Cup playoffs. Can Washington pull off the comeback here against Pittsburgh? I doubt it. I think Pittsburgh have enough horses. And that's what it takes in this game. It's all about the horses, right? You need your horses. Sidney Crosby, a horse. I mean, right down to, you know, a Genie Malkin, he's a horse. Kessel hasn't been the horse in this playoffs, but you know what? He's a horse. And Murray, their young goalkeeper, he's been a big horse. The defense has been bigger horses like Chris Letang. He's been in and out of the series, but he's been playing yeoman-like hockey. It's the type of hockey you love to see. We don't see it all the time. And sometimes we think we take it for granted when we see these great superstars bringing their game, turning up what has to be turned up to be the best they can be at the time their team really needs them to bring it. And believe you me, you have to bring it in the playoffs. The playoffs is a type of season where the intensity's up, the fans are really into the game. You know, I've been watching some of these NHL playoffs on CBC and Sportsnet, and boy, you know, seeing the fans in Nashville really cheer on their Predators and seeing the fans in St. Louis really into hockey once again. These are some places that love hockey. You know, hockey is a game that you have to really love it. To go out and watch it, thousands of people waving their flags, bringing their families, it's an amazing feeling. It's just like when you're watching your football or baseball or basketball. It's the same thing. But hockey's it's like a community thing. Everybody gets involved and everybody loves to cheer on their favorite players or their favorite teams. But this has been a lot of fun in these playoffs. And we've seen some big-time movement in this offseason in terms of coaches. Bruce Boudreau getting fired from the Ducks, gets picked up by the Minnesota Wild. I didn't see that one coming. And then Guy Boucher named head coach of the Ottawa Senators. I think this is a good move for the Ottawa Senators, and bringing in assistant coach Mark Crawford, who's been in NHL for a long time, the former Colorado Avalanche head coach. You know, Coach Crow, it's good to see him get an opportunity. He's going to be an associate coach with Guy Boucher in Ottawa. Will he change the culture there? Absolutely. They need to get better defensively. I think everything it comes down to nowadays is all about defense. Let's look at Ken Hitchcock and the St. Louis Blues. They're all about defense. You know, when you look at the Nashville Predators, over their entire history, they've all been always about defense, but now they're all about offense. It's a change of philosophy. Some of these coaches, they try different things, different ways, and that's what makes them who they are, and what makes them a great team, a great coach, and great movement along the ice. Now let's move on to some mixed martial arts. UFC. Man, Alistair Overeem, just proven he's still one of the best heavyweights in the world. He put a shellacking to his opponent this past weekend in I think it was a big fight. I forget who he was fighting, but he knocked him out. I think it was the second round or third round. You know, the Reem is still the man. You know, he just makes it look easy, and it's not that easy. You know, his power, his quickness. I think it was Arlovsky. He knocked him out, and he knocked him out pretty. I think his second round he knocked him out. I mean, Arlovsky's a former world champion. Andrei Arlovsky is one of the greatest UFC heavyweight champions the company's ever had. He's one of the most popular fighters they've ever had. You know, from when I was watching UFC religiously with my friend Greg back in the day when we were doing the MMA talk, you know, and the UFC talk, and, you know, all the, you know, pay-per-views that used to come up and stuff. But, you know, Andrei Arlovsky was a big star back then, 2008, 2009, 2005, 6. He was the man, like Randy Couture. But, you know, he's really lost some of that confidence. But he's put on some amazing fights for the fans around the world, and that's what happens. Sometimes you win, and then sometimes you lose. And you have Stefan Struve, who knocked out Bigfoot Silva, Antonio Bigfoot Silva, at 13 seconds. Boy, the mighty have fallen. The former Strikeforce heavyweight champion has really lost his luster. When he came into the Ultimate Fighting Championship, he was the man. He was beating some of the biggest names. He beat Cain Velasquez. He beat a few other big names like Frank Mir. And over the last 2-3 years, he has been losing some fights where I just shake my head. And another fighter, Junior Dos Santos, is another one of the heavyweights, has really struggled over the last few years. He's had injury problems. He's had straight up just get knocked out by guys that he should just beat in his sleep. It's absolutely amazing. Oh yeah, and Conor McGregor, there is some talk that he might be taking on Floyd Mayweather. It is a rumor, but if this fight happens, it probably will be an exhibition, but it'll be one of the most watched exhibitions in history, that's for sure. And congratulations to Mixed Martial Arts. They're finally going to be fighting in Manhattan. You know what I'm talking Manhattan? Madison Square Gardens, home of UFC 200 between John Jones and Daniel Cormier. That's going to be pretty nice. I think, was it Miesha Tate, I think, supposed to be on that card, and a few other big names are supposed to be.